Hello, everyone, and welcome back. So today is all about Good Times. Good Times is a non-distilling producer in the industry with a focus on special barrel finishes. I've seen a lot of talk about them on the internet. I've seen a lot of talk about them on Facebook. I had to figure out what it was all about, guys, and boom, here it is. So I do want to thank the team over there for supplying me with the bottles to review on the channel. They do source from MGP, so this is an MGP bourbon, and this is an MGP rye. They do their bottling over at Whiskey Thief Distilling Company in Frankfort, Kentucky. Really excited to get into these guys. So today, it's all about good friends, good bourbon, good whiskey, good times. Let's go. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started with the Good Times bourbon. This is a non-chill filtered MGP bourbon finished in peach brandy barrels. Comes in at 118 proof. This is barrel number 4 and bottle number 213. Let's go ahead and get into the nose. Yeah, man, there it is. It's peaches. Peaches. Nice, like creamy vanilla. Kind of an undertone on there. The peach is a little dominant on the nose. It's like some cinnamon was sprinkled onto the peaches. Almost like some stewed peach. There is some like caramel richness in there too, though. That is more of an undertone. Again, the peach is fairly dominant. A little bit of cinnamon in there. And caramel, vanilla. I do actually pick up a little bit of oakiness kind of, further into the glass. There is definitely some oak present on there. Yeah, like stewed peaches with cinnamon sprinkled on it and some like caramel drizzle. Almost like a peach cobbler. Pretty nice. Those guys get into the palate. Cheers. Man. So the palate is like an exact replica of the nose. Stewed peaches, cinnamon, there's a little bit of nutmeg in there. A little more spiciness on the palate, like baking spices. It's like some nutmeg, cinnamon, stewed peaches. And then like there's this like vanilla and caramel sweetness kind of on the front of the palate. The peach really starts to shine through on the middle of that palate with those baking spices. Into the finishes, it's a short to medium finish, but there's like some spiciness that's to it, like a little bit of like a white pepper that kind of flows into the finish. Dries the palate out a little bit, but it kind of makes me want to go back for a second sip, like really quick. Good first sip, guys. Get the second one. Yeah, again, so there's like that vanilla, like caramel sweetness, like on the very front of the palate. I'm trying to pick up actually a little bit of like lemon there on the sides of the palate, a little bit of citrus. It's very easy for me to point that out. Then those stewed peaches kind of tying in with that caramel vanilla, like a cobbler. Some baking spices on the middle of the palate. I start to pick up that oak now. A little bit of sweet oak that follows through into the finish. A little bit of white pepper. What I like about this, though, is that the peach is not overly dominant like it was on the nose. The peach was definitely dominant on the nose. On the palate, it's there, clearly. But, those undertones of that bourbon still kind of shine through. Again, that vanilla, that caramel, some citrus on the sides of the palate, the oak kind of follows through. Let's get to the last sip, guys. Cheers. I really like the spiciness with this, though. It's like there's like a rye spiciness and there's like a baking spice spiciness, like a spicy oak. Yeah, again, that caramel vanilla on the front, going into like some stewed peaches in the middle of the palate. Baking spices, some cinnamon, some nutmeg, following through into the back with some of that oak and white pepper. Very surprising bourbon here, guys, from Good Times. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get into the Good Times Rye. This is a non-chill filtered MGP rye that is finished in apple brandy barrels. This one comes in at 116 proof. This is barrel number 203, bottle number 227. Let's go ahead and get into the nose. Oh, it's like a Macintosh apple, like a nice red apple. But then there's like this like cinnamon, like almost like this creme brulee note to it. Really, really nice. Again, it does have that caramel and vanilla. They're a little more dominant than the apple is on the nose. The apple is definitely there, but the caramel and vanilla, they're not, the undertones. They're there. I do pick up a little bit of some lemon peel on the nose as well. I do pick up a little bit of the rye on the nose. Yeah, really nice. Again, that caramel vanilla on the nose, those red Macintosh apples, a little bit of cinnamon in there. But there's definitely some lemon present. The citrus on the nose is definitely there, right along with that apple as the dominant. Let's get into the palate, guys. Cheers. That's good. Oh man. So right away, front of the palate, lemon, apples, sides of the palate, citrus, some oranges in there. Definitely very fruity, a little bit tangy. Going into the finish, there's a sweet oak. Not very, I don't get a lot of rye spices on this one. It's not very spicy. Even though it's 116 proof, it's not very spicy. Say, medium to short finish, doesn't last very long. But those flavors, those fruity flavors, and that oak all kind of tie in together and go down and flow into the finish. Really nice first sip. Let's get into the second one, guys. This is really good. What I like about it, again, same thing with the bourbon, is the apple is not dominant. It's not dominating over these other flavors. Again, great mouthfeel to this rye as well. It does stick to the palate very, very well. Not so much on the sides of my cheeks and my tongue, but just over top, from the top and the middle and into the back of the palate. Again, caramel, vanilla, some cinnamon, like a cinnamon apple on the middle of the palate. Starts to dry out a tad onto the back with some of that sweet oak. Not picking up any dill. Not picking up any black licorice, star anise. Again, medium to short finish, doesn't last very long, but again, those flavors, those fruity flavors, there's lemon, orange on the sides of the palate. They all kind of flow in together from the middle of the palate and into the back. Really nice pour, guys. Let's get into the last one. Cheers. This is a hitter, man. This is good. Yeah. Again, so it's not really evolving. It's not really evolving any, so it's not, I'm not picking out anything new. Again, the flavors have stayed consistent. And again, it doesn't drink like it's 116 proof. Maybe a little bit of that rye spice now on the middle of the palate. Vanillas, caramels, lemon, orange, those apples, the apple cinnamon, like right in the middle of the palate. Some sweet oak followed into the finish. Fantastic rye finishing here from Good Times. So I want to thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. I want to send a big thank you over to the team over there at Good Times for supplying me with the bottles to review on the channel. I can tell you right now, both of these were quite the surprise. Bourbon, fantastic. The rye was an absolute monster. This is a hitter of a bottle. I will be digging into this a little bit more. Again, guys, it's, one of the things that I respect about these is that the finishings were not overly dominant. They didn't take over the entire palate. On the nose, on the nose or the palate. You still had a lot of those great flavors from the bourbon and the rye mixed in there with those finishings. They definitely did these things right. Again, I'm glad I was able to review these and find some of these, because I had been, again, very intrigued, from hearing about them on the internet and Facebook, guys. Again, it's all about good friends, good bourbon, good whiskey, good times. So if you guys are looking for more, reviews like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell notification to be alerted of any upcoming reviews or live streams. You also find me on Instagram at Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. And until next time, guys, stay dusty.